you get these motivational stories and stuff, which
Yeah.
is so vague, like horoscopes.
Yes.
It's like you're good, but you're bad.
Yeah.
And, you're always hot, but sometimes can be cold. And it's just like, yeah, well, everyone is going to,
Yeah, you. I feel like you're describing me right now.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Jibber with Jabber. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Today I have Muneer Al Busaidi. That's right. I got it right, didn't I?
You got it right. You got it right. Some points.
Do you know what I'm saying? I got some points there.
Yeah.
Muneer is an impact coach. Now, most people who hear that would think that you're teaching people how to fall over and land right, or boxers how to receive a punch.
Among other things, yes,
Yeah.
I do that.
That's a good thing. Maybe you got a job in the UFC there, to teach people how to take
To
the
hit.
impact of that punch. No, it's to take the impact. It's not actually giving it the
It's a
impact,
bit
right?
of both. You got to give and take,
Bit of both, right? So tell me, what is an impact coach?
Okay, so the average person sees about 5,000 brands and ads every single day, right? So even in this room, like, you've got so many things that stand out. So it's getting harder and harder for the little guy to stand out, for the small business to be remembered, to create an impact. And so what I do is I help people to use hypnotic storytelling so that they can be remembered, referred, and rewarded.
Okay, what is hypnotic storytelling?
So storytelling is the oldest form of capturing people's attention and maintaining it. Like, people go to a PowerPoint presentation, but they don't want to be there. But what do when they go home? Is they go and put on TV and they watch a story. They read a story, etc. Because stories have been designed to capture and maintain a person's interest.
Okay.
So hypnotic storytelling is just using that extra level with designing a story based on how people's minds work.
And is that visual or just audio or a bit of both?
It's a bit of both. I mean, when you tell a story, it's very auditory, and then you can, depending on how you tell that story, you can bring up auditory elements. You can get someone to imagine and visualize and all sorts of things.
Is it different for men and women? Because to me, like, if there was a belly dancer telling a story, then that's hypnotic enough for me to remember the whole story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you find that there is an actual difference with male and females when it comes to telling a story or getting them?
What is difference is relevance. So not every story will resonate with you, right? So if I tell a story that mirrors what you're going through in life, then you will automatically put yourself in the story. Right? You will put yourself in that hero's shoes, because every time you watch a movie, what are we doing? We're kind of saying, oh, what would I do in that situation? If someone's driving a car in a movie, what are we doing? We're going right and left. Why are we doing that? Because we've put ourselves in that situation. And so, but if a story is like completely irrelevant to you and you just don't care about it, then you won't put yourself in that story. So yes and no. Depending, it's not man or woman, it's whether it's relevant, you feel that story is relevant to you or not.
And how do you make sure that a story is relevant? Because, for example, there's you get these motivational stories and stuff, which is so vague, like horoscopes.
Yes.
It's like you're good, but you're bad.
Yeah.
And you're always hot, but sometimes can be cold. And it's just like, yeah, well, everyone is gonna.
Yeah, you. I feel like you're describing me right now.
That's how it is. It's what I'm getting from you. Like, is vagueness a big part of it, or
no, except if you're doing it to the public, right? So if you don't know who your audience is, if you're going out to everybody, then you're gonna have to be as vague as possible to capture as many people as possible. But if you're speaking to a specific person or a specific audience, then you want to ask questions. How do you make it relevant? You ask questions. So, for example, I'm a hypnotist, right? Let's say I was going to be doing hypnotherapy. The reality is you can go online and you can listen to a hypnotic recording for someone to help you quit smoking. But it won't work very well. Why? Because it doesn't use your motivation. It doesn't use your purpose. It doesn't use your reasons. So what a great hypnotist or a change worker or anything would do, or a speaker, is find out what are your motivations, what are your fears, what are your, where are you stuck, where would you like to go, and then weave that into a story, and that can create a really powerful impact.
It's interesting you say that, because I had a friend of mine, David Boulos, who was on here.
Yes.
And we were talking
know
about
that.
something similar to the smoking thing. And he was like, a lot of people don't realize that you need to kind of find the source first, because some people started for a specific reason, or an event that happened, or with a lot of things in life, not just smoking. And then when you start to dig up what that initial event was, some people don't even realize it was that. And then they're just like, oh, this is why I'm doing this, or why I'm a dick to people, or whatever. It's because of this incident that happened so long ago.
And you know, whether it's the initial event, there's multiple fuels that can help you get a result. So for example, finding out what the initial event is, you can use that, or you can use the person's motivation, and then you can help them get a result. So you, without knowing what the initial part is. But yes, all of those are kind of unconscious processes.
So how do you, for example, when you want to reach somebody or a group of people, and you don't have the time to know those questions, how do you then impact a group of people in a corporate scenario? Or
so in a situation like that, what you could do is you could have a sort of avatar that represents the person, and sort of think about, okay, this person, what, and you'd have to do best guesses, right? Like, so if they're in a company in Dubai that's a financial company, you can automatically make some assumptions over there.
To make money in the heat.
Yes. Exactly. So you can sort of start to come up with what your best guesses are. Typically, if you're going to go and speak to someone, they're going to give you a bit of a topic to talk about. So they've already told you what their desires are, and you can do best guesses from there.
Yeah. So you also teach coaches how to teach.
Yes.
As well. So how do you go about that in regards to not knowing who they're coaching or what they're...
So the main thing over here is, if a coach is working with someone, or if anybody's working with another person, what tends to happen is that a lot of coaches, they just like to tell people what to do. They like to just give facts. It's like or if they are trying to sell their services, it's like a PowerPoint presentation, and it's like this fact, this fact, this fact. But what I tell people is how to teach people how to use stories and talk about their struggles, or another client that overcame what their client is overcoming. So for example, if you're teaching, right, the average person will go and teach something. In fact, everything I do is because I've made these mistakes myself. Like, I have made every mistake in the book. I go live every single day, and when I first started going live, I would start by just teaching these facts. I'd be like, hey guys, you need to do this, and it will help you. And what I was realizing is that it wasn't getting across so much. And I listened to a guy called Russell Brunson. He's a digital marketer. He's a great speaker. And he said, if you want people to really value what you're sharing, tell them all the struggles that you went through in order to learn that thing.
So they can relatability. Exactly.
And that way people will kind of value it. Like they'll be like, oh, I don't want to make all the mistakes that Muneer has made. I don't want to experience the frustration that Muneer has experienced. And so then they'll pay attention. So if you talk about a story where you struggled before you learned something, then people are going to pay more attention. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. But the one thing that I kind of, have to keep going through, or I keep going through in my head, is, do you feel like we're more needy as a people now than we were 50 years ago? Because it seems like everybody needs motivation now for everything. They need answers, and they don't realize that no, this is life, and we're all going through the exact same stuff, maybe in different ways, but everyone's depressed, and everyone struggles, and everybody has ups and downs with money, and everybody fights with their wife and doesn't. And it's like, now it's just like, oh no, but I'm studying with this coach, and I'm studying with this coach. And do you feel like it's more now?
I feel like today people have this sort of instant desire for everything. They want instant results. They want instant, like we're trained to, hey, I want an answer, pick up a phone and you get it. And so people are they want things so much faster. They're less reliant. They're less accepting of mistakes. And one of the things that I like to say is mistakes are such a big part of us growing. Like when you were growing up, when you were a baby, right? How did you start to walk? You'd fall over, 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 and until you got it right. And so the answer is not in finding someone to motivate you. It's about how you think about different things, how you frame things, and how you have different expectations of things. So I don't think that anyone needs motivation, but they do need to master how they are thinking, what questions they ask themselves, because it can make a huge difference in somebody's life.
And believe the power in themselves as well.
Exactly.
I mean, I can't relate to that walking thing because I literally came out and started walking.
I came out dancing.
I walked out past the doctor, slapped my own ass and said, all right, I'm ready. This is life. Let's do this kind of thing.
I moonwalked out.
Yeah, right. Just like zoomed out. So how important is communication, and how dangerous also is communication? This is something I want to bring up because well, let's talk about the importance of it. How important is it to be able to communicate? It
is the difference between success and failure in so many different aspects. I believe that you're one communication away from all your dreams. You're one communication away from meeting the partner of your dreams. You're one communication away from getting the job of your dreams. You're one communication away from getting that sale. You're one communication away from saving someone's life. So I think it's critical. The challenge is what most people do is they think that communication is just about the words that they say, right? I'll tell you a very quick story, right? Quite a very funny one. So 3 years ago, on my birthday, my friends, they take me out to Lucky Voice, right? It's a karaoke place here in Dubai. And when we get there, they're like, okay, Muneer, it's your birthday. You got to go first. Go for it. Go in and sing. And I'm like, okay. They're like, come on, hurry up. Pick a song. So I'm like, oh, okay. I pick the first song that I can find. And it's Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer. Okay. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to do this. Not the kind of song I'd usually pick. I'm more of a hip hop guy, but and so I get this and I'm like, you know what? I'm among friends. I'm going to unleash. I'm going to have fun. It's my birthday. So I start going, wow, live. And before I started though, my friend Tony is here and he goes, oh man, that's my favorite song. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, this is my favorite song. But as soon as I start singing, the smile that he has on his face is like,
you're like, we're nowhere near there now. We were halfway there. Now we're nowhere near.
Yeah. We've gone in reverse, right? And so halfway through the song, he starts tapping me on the shoulder, and I'm singing, and he's like, Muneer. And I have one of these really annoying friends. He's like, Muneer. And I'm like, what, Tony? I'm singing. And he goes, who sings this song? Now, I'm in the middle of singing and it doesn't click straight away that he said, oh, this is my favorite song. So I'm like, it's Bon Jovi. And he snatches the mic and he goes, let's keep it that way.
You butchered my song.
Yeah. But, and the reason I tell you this story is I had the exact words that he loved. I had the exact music that he loved. But the experience that I had turned something he loved into something that he hated. And the difference was delivery.
Yeah, the execution was not on.
The execution, yeah. And so, like if a salesperson, they think it's all about the script. Forget your script. You can double your persuasion if you say the exact same thing, but you have the right tonality, that you're able to get that empathy across, because words are about 7% of communication. 93% is like your body language and your tone of voice.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, like you could literally make someone's day the shittiest day ever
completely
just by a couple of, I mean, if your wife is leaving the house and you say to her, even if she looks nice, and you go, you're not gonna go like that, or did you not even put makeup on? Even if she did, or whatever. But just saying that, even if it wasn't true, and even if she knew it wasn't true, she'd be in the car and she'd be like,
oh yeah, Yeah,
You know?
You
And-
could mess with people's
And
heads.
even on a rough day where
Yeah.
she's sitting there in jogging pants and her hair's just all over the place, and
Yeah.
you know she hasn't shaved for a week, so the full beard is on there, like about down to the
Yeah,
chest.
yeah.
No, and you're like, baby, you're beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, even if she felt rough, those little words
Completely.
would change her day.
Completely. And by the way, we're trained on this from kids. You know, like your parents or my parents, right? All they have to do is they just say my name,
Yeah.
right?
Mar!
Yeah, exactly.
That was my household.
Yeah. But
Yeah, it's true.
you know, if my mom would just say, you know, Muneer or Muneer, you know, like whatever in whatever way, like I literally knew it's the same word, but we know
Yeah.
that different, like the different connotations.
Yeah.
And you know, I say parents, but yes, spouses are
No,
the
but
same. But
it's-
that's too sensitive right now. I don't want to talk
It's
about
true.
that.
This is what they say about the whole. You know, I mean, this is from a far other side of it, but you know, you get the whole that words are magic.
Yeah.
And you know, witches, you know, they do spells and
Yeah.
cast spells, and the first thing we learn in school is how to spell and how to put words together to make spells to then
Yes.
make people feel a certain way. That's for all my conspiracy people there.
Yeah.
So words they literally are weapons. Like they can, and in politics and things said right at the right time in the right way.
Yeah. And here's
dangerous.
what's crazy. What's crazy. I love you that you bring that up, because the way that you're framing it right now is words of other people.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is, what about the words we say to ourselves?
Yeah, very true.
Right. And you know, there's one experiment I do with people when I show them the power of words and the fact that you may be hypnotizing yourself on a daily basis. And I'll get someone to just put out their hand and say strong, strong, strong.
Yeah.
And I'll push their hand down. And then I'll just say, okay, now just say the word weak, weak, weak. And you just notice, just notice that your hand will get really weak, like really quickly. And did you want to
It's
try
a mixture
it?
of kinesiology, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
but it's the words that we say to ourselves can literally make us weaker. And anyone try this at home, find someone a guinea pig, but
You just got a bunch of men standing naked in the mirror going, big, 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 much bigger, big. That's what I'm going to try when I get home.
Okay.
Let's see
I
if your
feel
coaching has worked or not.
I feel like you're saying it because you want people to think you're joking, but really you're going to do it.
Definitely not. Big,
Big,
bigger,
big.
big, please.
Come on. Yeah. So, the thing is, so many people go on a daily basis. They say, "Oh man, I'm such an idiot. Oh, why the hell did I do that again?" Or, "What is wrong with me?" And all these questions. And
I can't do this.
yeah, I can't do this. I'm just not good enough, or whatever it is. And the reality is, you don't need a hypnotist. You're hypnotizing yourself by repeating crap to yourself on a daily basis. So
I totally agree. Tell me about hypnosis. Do you believe in stage hypnosis?
yes.
Or hypnosis rather, not hypnosis, but still.
Yeah. So stage hypnosis is hypnotism is sort of like a magic show. It does all work. It is
But to
real.
the point that quack quack, I'm a duck.
Yeah, but I mean, I could ask anyone on the street right now, and I could just say to them, "Hey, what sound does a dog make?" And they'll go, "Woof woof."
Yeah.
Did I do it because I'm a hypnotist? No, I kind of asked the right question.
Yeah.
The trick on a stage hypnosis show is, number one, you got to find the right people. And those are people that are very extroverted, etc., and who will respond very quickly. And the other thing is, they all give their permission for to go up. So a stage hypnosis show is kind of stacked in your favor. But to be honest with you, if you go out on a night out, you'll see people acting crazy without hypnosis. So you know, they'll have some other form of hypnosis, if you know what I mean. There are people that behave outrageously anyway. That's the kind of person that they are. So hypnosis show is stacked in that way. But is hypnosis real? 100%. Does it make people do things that they don't want to do? No. Yeah. Everyone, when you're doing hypnosis with someone, people are giving you permission to do stuff. right? I'll give you an example what I'm talking about. So when I first started learning hypnosis, I had my book. I was like, okay, let me figure this out. Let me see if this works. And I had my wife with me, and I'm sort of sitting there, okay, and I'm like, okay, and okay, now try this, and I try something, and I'll be like, okay, forget a number, and then she'd forget a number. I was like, oh my god, this works. This is amazing. I have the power, and all these things. And then I was like, okay, all right, it's getting really hot.
Yeah.
You're really hot. You want to take off your shirt. And I just remember my wife was just sitting there, and I just remember her going, no, it's not happening. and that's when I learned that, you know, you can do a lot with hypnosis, not as much as you'd like.
Yeah, not all the good stuff anyway.
Not all the good stuff. And yes, people can lie, people can do anything. It's just
that's your time. I'm sorry.
Oh,
no,
okay.
That's just my alarm.
Okay.
You were like, huh?
Yeah. All right, thank you. See you later.
Should have hypnotized me to make this show last longer.
Yeah. So hypnosis is a little bit like sales. It increases your chances of being persuasive, but it won't guarantee that you will get a result. Does that make sense?
Totally. I guess hypnosis also, if you look at it in a different way, is kind of the same as manipulation and persuasion too. Because if you kind of persuade I mean, you get this with bombers, suicide bombers, and these kind of people who, you know, you get but he was just a normal, nice guy who blah 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 blah. But if something gets drummed into you enough, and in a way that kind of resonates in even if it's a small thing, then you can kind of transform someone's brain into kind of doing something that you don't want them to, or that they don't want to do.
Yeah. What would happen is, in a case like that, is all persuasion is just finding what kind of motivates someone already and then expanding on it. Like I said, to a certain degree, if someone's values and morals are against that sort of thing, then I can't hypnotize someone to go and commit a crime or etc. unless, you know, they really wanted to, or, you know, you have to frame it in a certain way. But yeah, like, you can't really make someone do, but you can become more persuasive. Literally, a lot of salespeople use hypnotic language. They don't know that they do. Hypnosis is literally a combination of language and a state that everyone goes through,
with a bit of NLP sprinkled in.
With a bit of NLP. Like, the reality is, you experience hypnosis every single day. There's, you know, a lot of people will say to me, I mean, I've never been hypnotized.
You've never wanted a burger after driving on Sheikh Zayed and seeing the McDonald's sign.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, it's such a natural thing. It's like someone saying to me, you know what, I've never exercised. Listen, just because you haven't been to the gym doesn't mean you haven't exercised. And like hypnosis, just because you haven't done a formal trance doesn't mean you haven't been hypnotized. If you watched a movie, you've been hypnotized.
Yeah, for at least 2 hours.
yeah, exactly. Like people sit there and they're watching a movie and they're like,
and someone's talking to them and they're just literally like, or even when you're on your phone and someone's sitting next to you talking to you and they're like, are you listening to me? And they're just like on Instagram, just like
100%. It's what hypnosis is two things. It's a trance state, which is literally a focused state of attention where all of your focus is on one thing. And they're different trances. When somebody dances, it's a trance, like for many dancers, because they they let go of everything else.
If they're in clubs and they're taking ease and stuff.
I didn't want to say nothing, but
it's all right. We're not doing it. We live in beautiful Dubai.
So someone that's racing, even an accountant, by the way, an accountant that's just sitting there, like he's tranced into numbers. He's not focused on anything else. These are all different types of trance. Meditation is hypnosis, by the way. So all of those are just different trances. Then you combine hypnotic language, which is sales language. It's just, you know, I'll give you an example. At Harvard, they did this study ages ago, back when they had libraries. You remember those buildings?
They had all those paper things inside.
Exactly. And they had these things called photocopiers.
Yeah.
But and because people didn't have their own computers, they had huge lines for photocopiers, right?
That was also because most people were taking pictures of their asses in them in hands and stuff.
Yes.
I've got a dissertation due tomorrow. And the guy's like, just wait, I need to do my face.
Yeah. I like how you said face. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And Harvard, they got three groups of people, right? The first group of people to try and get wasta, like try and cut in the line. Yeah. First group of people went, hey, listen, can I cut in the line? And they gave an amazing excuse, like, can I cut in the line because I am in a hurry? And so about 94% of people, they let in. Come on, okay, no problem, wasta. Another group of people, they gave them the worst. They gave them no excuse. Hey, can I cut in the line? So, hey, can I cut in the line? Only about 60% of those people cut in. So, not because there's no excuse. Then they gave one group of people the worst excuse in the world, right? They'd go to the front of the line and say, hey, can I cut in the line because I have to make photocopies? Yeah, I mean, what is everyone else in this line here to do, right? Like, everyone's there to make photocopies. So, so the crazy thing is, it's the worst excuse in the world. But 93% of people let them have a wasta. It's almost on par as the best excuse. Yeah. And the reason that works is because our brains like to justify. So the word because is a hypnotic word. Yeah. But you use the word because. Are you a hypnot? Like, it doesn't. It's a word that you use every single day. So hypnotic language is not using anything magical. It's just understanding how our brain is already wired. Our brain likes reasons. That's why kids go around saying, why? Like, our brains.
I've got 3-year-old twins. I know exactly what you're talking about.
There you go.
I live in the why right now. Probably will for the next 5 years. Yeah.
I feel you, man. The struggle is real, right? Yeah. So so hypnotic language is something that naturally happens, but people just aren't doing it on purpose. So just like a trance happens all the time naturally, we all experience it, and hypnotic language happens naturally. The only difference with hypnosis, we bring these different elements together. Like, you go to a gym, you do all these exercises in a shorter space of time to get a better result. That's the same with hypnosis. You do everything in a shorter space of time to get a bigger result.
I guess it's the same as like when guys really want to go out with a girl, right? Or you're trying to get your wife or your girlfriend, that first meeting, that was all your hypnosis powers put in one, right?
That's why I learned hypnosis.
It's true, because okay, let's talk about the dangers of being a good communicator, because you get people like con men. And these kind of people who can literally talk anyone into anything, or out of anything. You know what I mean? So also there's the other side of the scale where being a good communicator is also a dangerous thing, right?
So I think there's definitely an element to it that what are your intentions as a human being? But it's a little bit like learning words, learning to speak, right? You can use the fact that you're learning to speak to do good or to do bad, to insult people or to help people. I think that the effectiveness of hypnosis and powerful communication, especially in the way that I teach it, is that you are utilizing what people want. So you can't necessarily use it. Well, I mean, I think anyone can use things for bad, but the way that I teach is to find out what people want and then give it to them. But yes, of course, like, can you learn a bad word and use it to upset someone, or can you learn how to speak in a different language and then use that to do bad? Yes, completely.
So what is the importance or the difference in being a good communicator? I mean, I know you have a good story about the politicians with the so which sorry, say that again. You told me you had a nice story about two politicians.
Oh yes. So being a good communicator, so the ultimately, I'll rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll set this up. So what I think is a lot of people think that communication is very hard.
Yeah.
Right. And just to give you a bit of a background, when I was growing up, I was this really shy, awkward, geeky kid. I used to think that for you to be an effective communicator, for you to be charming, for you to be funny, you had to be born that way.
Yeah.
Right. Like I thought that's how it was. I didn't know that it could be learned and that it can be so easy. What I find is that with people that are geeky or shy or awkward, you know, the biggest barrier that they have is, what do I say in a conversation, right? Like if a geeky guy wants to go out with a girl, he's like, I don't know what to talk about. Let me go and research, and then he like has all these notes and everything, etc. How do I be interesting? And the reality is it's so much easier than people realize. So the politician story. In the UK, a long time ago, they had two people that were running for the Prime Minister. Yeah. So they had Benjamin Disraeli and William Gladstone. They were both running to be Prime Minister. And what happened was a reporter went and had dinner, like a dinner date with both of them. And so she went
at the same time?
At different times. So they went, she went and had dinner with the first person, dinner with the second person. And then someone came and asked her, okay, so what did you think? And she said, okay, you know what? The first person I had dinner with, which was William Gladstone, man, I thought he was the most interesting person in the world. Like, he had so many amazing stories, etc. And then the person said, okay, and what about the second person? And she said, okay, well, the second person, Benjamin Disraeli, oh my God, he made me feel like I was the most interesting person in the world.
Very good, yeah.
And this is and then he won the election. He became prime minister because he would go and speak to people, and he would make people special by asking them loads of questions. I mean, you're doing that right now. I feel special.
How special do you feel?
This is you're
You
whining
look
and
great
dining
in
me.
that chair.
Stop it.
The colours behind you. Purple is your colour.
If I wasn't so brown, I'd be red right now.
Yeah, that's very interesting. It's true, right?
Yeah.
Because working to people's egos and stuff works. It kind of makes them feel so good and makes them really want to kind of do better next time.
Yeah, and I've done lots of demonstrations where I'll bring someone up, and I've even done a couple of YouTube videos where I'd go and I'd start to speak to someone, and I'd ask them one question. So I'd tell a couple of people, I'll be like, look, watch this. I'm gonna start off this conversation. I'm only gonna ask one question, and watch how this person enjoys the conversation. And I'd go into a conversation and I'd say, tell me about something that you really enjoy to do. And the person would say, okay, like just play someone. So I'd say, AJ, what do you really like to do?
Picking poppies.
Poppies.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
I love poppies. It's just the way that the redness of them, and the way that they have so much relevance to the war and all the soldiers that went out. I just find that really beautiful.
Wow. Tell me more. The relevance to the war?
I don't know much about poppies or the war.
Yeah.
No, but I get what you're saying, though. Yeah.
And all I would do is I
Literally
would
just
pick a couple of words.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wouldn't even add any words to it. I would literally go, you say, beautiful, and I go, beautiful.
Yeah.
And by the way, tonality, like it's a question tone. So I go, beautiful. And you go, yeah. They're just like, they're pretty. They just make me feel so special. I keep them everywhere around the house.
Around the house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you'd think that, oh my God, this is crazy. You'll get found out. Because people feel like, oh my God, he's really interested in what I want to say. So, and you can get a conversation to go for such a long time.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is utilizing what the other person has said.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. I remember a similar thing happened to me once, and I'm very aware of words and people can be having shitty days or whatever. And I remember one time, I mean, I do this all the time. My car is on 1 kilometer left petrol, and I'm like, let me see how long I can do. I can make it. And I drive past the petrol station, and I'm like, no, it says 1 kilometer. My house is 0.3 of a kilometer, so I can get home, then go back out again and hit the petrol station on the way back, and I'll still make it. I like that test living on the edge.
You're an adrenaline junkie. It sounds like
always,
it. Oh
dude,
my
my
God.
wife is always like getting in the car, and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, taking this baby to its limits. You know? So I came out my house, and I went around the corner. I was getting to the petrol station. The car just broke down. It was like there was no petrol in it whatsoever. No. And I was like, okay, this didn't work today. The car beating me today. So I put my hazards on, and I'm on the side of the road. And it was, midday, beautiful weather. And there's this English guy with his wife in his convertible.
Yeah.
And he's behind me, beep, 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 beep. And at first I looked out the window, and I was angry. I was just like, well, you can see my hazard lights. Obviously, I'm here for a reason, right? And there was another road just there. He could have just gone past.
Yeah.
And then he drove up, and he was like, what's going on? And then I was like, okay, let me approach this differently. I was like, oh man, do you know what? And I told him the story, and then I was like, but I live in Dubai, it's hot. Oh, you're driving a nice convertible, you're in a rush, blah blah blah. And after that, his whole kind of mood just changed, and my mood changed, and I was just like, yeah, I could have continued to just argue with this guy, and we probably would have continued arguing for 15 minutes, and just irrelevant stuff going back and forth. But then I was just like, do you know what I mean? Whatever. I told him the story. He found it hilarious because he obviously has at some point has lived on the edge. Yeah. By the way, I just want to stop this to say, Benga, you are beautiful, and I love the way that you do the cameras. Really, really, really enjoy the way that you do them. So
I'm getting distracted here.
Right?
Like
I'm just trying to make him feel happy. We got 10 more shoots today, so I'm trying to put him in a good mood.
I thought I was the only one, man.
No, you are the first one. That's the difference, you see.
You
are number one.
Oh, you're hypnotizing me. You're turning it around. I like it.
That's it. So, okay, how does somebody who isn't a communicator and somebody who's generally shy, how do they go about changing that or working on that and helping themselves to become a better communicator?
So I think that's an excellent question. The starting point that I truly believe that everyone should do is make a habit of stepping outside of your comfort zone. And this is what I mean. Anything that I haven't been comfortable with that I've ever wanted to do, I haven't gone from 0 to 100. Like, let's say I creating videos every day, doing a live video every day. When I first started, I wasn't comfortable going live. In fact, that's why I wanted to do it. And what I would do is initially I'd get up the camera and I'd start to record, and then I wouldn't post it. But I'd take a little step outside of my comfort zone, and every single day I'd take a little step outside of my comfort zone, just enough, but always doing something that I haven't done before. And then, so let's say in the case of videos, it would be one day I'd record and then I'd delete. One day I'd record and I'd watch it. The next day I'd record and I'd show one person. Then the next day I'd record and show a couple of people. Then I'd record and post it. Then I'd go live, for example. So it's a gradual step. A lot of people think of becoming confident as this, go from 0 to hero, but it's a progress, right? I want people to make 1% improvement every single day, and then in 100 days you're like more than 100% because it's compounded. So what can you do that's a little bit outside of your comfort zone? Who can you just speak to? Can you reach out to someone that you feel a little uncomfortable speaking to? Can you just start a conversation with someone new? Can you go up to if you're shy in terms of talking to people, what is a little bit outside of your comfort zone? You go to the coffee shop and you speak to people when you order. Why not ask an extra question? It's got to be little steps, but every single day improve on it. It's like the guy that does 1 push-up and then the next day he does 2 push-ups and then the next day 3 push-ups, etc. It grows and grows and builds and builds. This is the
consistency.
It's consistency. It's all about consistency, and consistency in stepping outside of your comfort zone enough that you're just slightly uncomfortable. Just slightly. I don't believe in being crazy uncomfortable. Like consistency of a tiny bit on uncomfort in time will get you to become extremely comfortable and confident. So that's one aspect. And the other aspect is learning while you're going along, so that you can try out new things, and being okay with making mistakes.
I agree with that totally. I mean, one thing I think people tend to forget, and for me, how I looked at things from a very young age, which kind of helped me, because I'm like you. I can speak to anyone, and I always have, and I would sit next to random people and just start a conversation. Is the realization that we're all the same. Everyone wants to talk to someone else. Everybody wants somebody to pay attention to them. Everybody wants to laugh or smile or whatever. And a lot of people are so intimidated by people that they think, I can't talk to that person. Or and that's what stops a lot of people. And that's the same thing that I was with. See, I had a friend of mine, his name was Khalid, and I'll never forget this. He would speak to every single girl when we were like 15, 16. If we went into a park and there was 30 girls, he'd try it with all of them. All of them. Even if he got one girl's number, he'd carry on and try it with every girl. And I was like, dude, why do you keep doing this? And he was like, well, they can't all say no. Do you know what I mean? And in the meantime, I'm practicing. So he was just gaining and getting better and better and better, and learning from the previous one what he said. It was like, okay, that doesn't work. So on the next one, it's like kind of Groundhog Day. You live the same day, and you realize you get to that point, and you're like, oh damn, that didn't work. You go back to the beginning, you start again, you pass that one, and get another one after that.
100%. I think the biggest challenge is like you say, people are so afraid of rejection, of failure, of making a mistake, and it comes back to that thing we were talking about earlier. Like, it's an instant society, the way we expect instant results, but
treat life like a pot noodle.
But the reality is, you can be amazing. Just be okay with making a couple of mistakes. Be okay with getting it wrong a couple of times. Be okay with making a fool of yourself. It's cool.
I think it's really important, because sometimes you don't actually have to have a conversation with people. You can actually just say a word or two to someone walking past, or even just smile. Like I've noticed, if you smile at 99% of people in the world that you don't know, if you're walking past them and you just smile, they'll smile back. Now, don't then take that as if you do that to a girl, which most guys are like, I smiled, she smiled back because she's polite, and I'm thinking, she's definitely down. Do you know what I mean? And then go and talk to her and start bothering her. But the general, like they say in every kind of, this is comes a lot in martial arts and fighting and all that stuff, that 9 times out of 10, if you put your hand out, somebody's gonna shake it. Do you know what I mean? Or if you try to stop the fight, 9 times out of 10, most people don't want to fight, unless they're that drunk guy that just doesn't know what he's doing and he just wants to fight, and he's an aggressive guy. It's
something called reciprocity, and it's such a powerful thing. Like, as a hypnotist, I go first. If I want to get someone to go into a trance, I'll go into a trance. If I want someone to feel good, I'll feel good. If I'm speaking to an audience and you want an audience to feel confident, you gotta feel confident yourself. It's so powerful. And you told me that story of the guy that came on with the car when your car broke down. There's a guy called Chris Voss. He used to work with the FBI and used to manage hostage negotiations and kidnappings, etc. And he teaches people that if you want someone that's really angry and aggravated to calm down, all you have to use is what's called a late night FM voice. So it's sort of like where you speak in a very calm and collected manner, which will calm someone down. And what happens is, we have something called mirror neurons, which means that, like you say, if someone's happy, we like to mirror what that person is feeling. So if someone's really aggravated, if you become aggravated, then what happens is it just escalates and goes out of hand. But if you maintain a calm voice, it's much more difficult for that person to maintain their state, because it's really aggravated. So they'll slowly start to calm down, because they will start to mirror you. So this whole reciprocity, whether you're smiling, you're waving, any of these things, people will always do, because we have this thing called mirror neurons. And the cool thing is you can get someone to calm down that's really angry.
We're gonna role play this right now.
Okay.
I'm in a bank and I've got hostages.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna kill these motherfuckers right now. I'm holding them right there.
Wait, we can swear on
Yeah.
this show?
Oh,
I didn't.
Fuck yeah! Don't worry. Yeah, we
I
can swear.
like that. Now you can tell me.
It's only the first 10 minutes on YouTube. After that, we're free to go, bro.
Oh yeah.
So I've got these. I've got one pregnant woman with me right now. So you ring me up. Bring, 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 bring.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Who the fuck's this?
Hey.
Listen, I want a pizza and a helicopter, and I'm gonna kill these people if I don't get it in 2 minutes.
Okay. And I really want to help you.
You got to ring again, man. I'm a hostage taker. I ain't got time for this call.
But the hostage taker also wants to get something out of return, so
Yeah.
they do
You
want
better
something.
ring me back. I want to smell pizza, bro. Call me back.
All right. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey. Listen.
Where's my pizza?
Hey, what's like? I'm working on whatever it is that you're looking for.
I want a pizza and a helicopter. I'm hungry, and this pregnant bitch is gonna die if you don't bring me my pizza.
Okay, great. Now, what I'd like to know is how do I know that everyone in there is okay?
What?
How do I know that everyone in there?
Everyone's okay. Everyone say, Benga, you okay?
I'm okay.
He's okay. See, he's okay. Where's my pizza?
Okay. and
By the
what
way,
we're
do
gonna-
you work on the radio? Because I was listening to the radio
yeah,
last
yeah.
night. You sound like the late night radio guy. Is that you?
Yeah. So anyhow,
She's gonna die, dude. You better get me out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah. So by bringing the tone down and the level down, they
by
kinda,
bringing the tone down,
it's
because
hard
because
to shout at someone
if-
who's not shouting
exactly
back.
exactly like you have to really maintain it, and what you might have found is that you were kind of like
Yeah.
and then you'd pause.
Yeah.
But if I started going, hey, but I really want them, and then
Yeah.
you'd start to go, yeah, but I really will kill her,
Yeah.
and then we'd just get into a shouting match. But as you saw, like
Yeah.
when
I
I
get that.
answered, you had little gaps,
Yeah.
little pauses, and you're like, and then you give yourself a little effort to boost
Yeah.
yourself up.
Yeah.
To keep it up, and then again I bring it down, and then you give yourself a boost up, and
Yeah.
then slowly but surely it
You were
starts
just
to come
lucky
down.
that he loved the radio station you
I-
worked on at night.
I know.
I'd be
yeah.
the opposite. If I was a
I-
hostage negotiator, I'd be like, ring, 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 ring. And they'd be like, listen, this bitch is going to die. I'd be like, no, motherfucker. I've got your wife.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she's going to die. Let those bitches out now. Yeah, I said it. All the bitches are going to die.
Every last
We're
one
all
of you motherfuckers
gonna
gonna
die.
die.
You know what? Fuck this. This is going to show you how much I mean this shit. I kill myself. They'll be like, okay, this guy's a bit
Yeah.
nuts. Let me just go, guys.
Okay, yeah. Like, I don't want to deal with
Yeah.
any other negotiator. You get the hell out,
That's
quick.
it. So I heard that you like basketball. Well, I heard that you liked basketball until Rick Sharif. Apparently, he made you hang up your boots on one fateful night. So, is there any truth to that? He said that you never played basketball again after seeing the skill that he brought to the table.
So, this is actually true. So my main man Rick, he grew up playing basketball. It is something he's very, very passionate about, and he was actually very good. He used to like lead the teams and everything, and every once in a while I'd go in and play. And the truth be
But
told,
you could play.
I was okay. I wouldn't say I could play, right?
You were the goalkeeper.
I was the
You're the guy
goalkeeper
we
in
shoot for goal.
basketball.
Yeah.
So it is true that I hung up my boots, but here's what actually happened. So we played, we used to play a fair bit, and either I'd be on his team, I'd be like the last pick, okay, like there's the rabbit or Muneer, kind of thing,
exactly.
like I'd be the last pick.
And the rabbit's injured from the last
And-
game
yeah,
when we
yeah.
left Muneer out.
yeah, exactly. So I would always be the last pick, etc. And either I'd be on his team or sometimes I wasn't on his team. And he was a good player, so he'd always. Then one time we played, I don't know, it was like 2-on-2 or something like that, and I was on the other team against Rick, and we played, and somehow I won.
Okay.
Like I beat him, I was not good. Like I did not beat him many times, so I beat him, and then I was like, "That's it.
I quit.
I retire.
Yeah, I'm
I
done.
retire. Undefeated. I beat you. That's it."
That's always the best way. Yeah.
And I swear to God, every time I bring it up, I'm like, "Listen, you didn't beat me."
As far as we're concerned, we don't go by all of the wars. We go by who's got the country now.
Exactly.
Right?
And this was 12 years ago. I beat
Until
him
now.
until now. And yeah, so he like
Yeah, well,
he'll
does he still bow down to you as king of the king of the court?
He anytime he says anything about me, I'll just go, listen, I just beat you at basketball and you're just sore.
I just beat you. It's been like 12 years.
And like it doesn't, like, to me it doesn't make any difference in the world, but to him it's just this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it will be. It will be for sure. But
So,
look, he's
yeah.
a communicator, Rick, and he communicated to you not only through his words, but also through his body when he beat you. That's the way it is.
Actions speak louder than words, and well, you know, I played until I got to a stage where I was good enough, and you know, like Jordan,
when there was no one left to beat you, right?
like and then you know, like Jordan, I retired at the top of my game. So
that's it.
sorry, man.
Dude,
you know?
I'm the same, dude. If I play one game, if it was like my first game, if I win, I'm like, I'm out.
I'm out. That's it. That's
I'm
it. Done.
Can't prove it. That's it. This is it.
That's it.
There's a footage there, and that's it.
Yeah, that done. I like retired, top of my game. No, sorry,
That's
man.
it. So who's? Because I kind of thought that you would say this, because I heard that you guys used to do stand-up comedy too.
Yes.
And apparently he managed to get his one back on you
Oh,
on a certain event, right?
Nice.
So-
I see. Like,
As you can see, that there's been
yeah.
some
Oh,
communication.
I can see. I can
between
see.
me and Rick before
He's
this.
he's been prepping you behind the scenes. Okay. I like it. Yes. So we did comedy together on a couple of things. And one was a stand-up we took part in a stand-up comedy competition. And yes, I came.
I'm sorry,
I
bro,
came
but
second.
He
It's
made
all good.
sure that I didn't.
He made sure he prepped you for this. But you know
like
what?
I haven't spoken to him. Like I'm trying to have a conversation with him. He's like, "Stay focused. this is your information." I was like, "Tell me about him." He was like, "No, this is what
This
I'm
is
going to tell
all
you."
that you need to know.
Yeah, exactly.
I am going. He wanted to get me back. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's cool. It's all good, man. Because
I'm trying to get a win back for the basketball. That's what it is, bro.
It's all good. So yes, he came first. I came in second. Now that was in one competition, which was stand up. But I did come in first in a improv competition where he wasn't even in the top 3. So it's all good, you know. Like,
look, at the end of the day, the guy shouts at deaf kids, so there's nothing that you
listen. You know,
he's already embarrassed enough, bro.
Yeah.
He shouts at deaf kids who are trying to just have a good day, bro.
Why do you think we gave him blades and paper, right? Like,
right?
we were like, listen, you can't be around people.
Yeah.
In fact, listen, let's just give you a blade. You might actually
That's
just hurt yourself.
He didn't
you
get.
know,
He didn't get it. First, you just gave him the
Like,
blades, and
yeah.
you're like, "Well, he hasn't used them properly." So
Yeah,
let's just give him some paper.
Like he's, you know, he's not getting the hint. Like,
Yeah,
let's just put paper in the room, and then so that there's nothing to cut. You know, we gave him blade. He was in the kitchen, like,
Yeah.
oh, I can make food.
This guy's made a fruit salad.
Yeah,
We were supposed to cut yourself.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and then he became an artist. I don't know
Yeah.
how that happens, but yeah.
Dude, I love his work. I mean, you can see a Leo over there in the corner.
Yeah.
And I have a beautiful Stanley in my house.
I mean, all joking aside, the guy is super talented, and you know, this is kind of why I get passionate about helping people. It's like guys like Rick, they have amazing talent. They can put amazing smiles on people's faces. They you know, he has such a powerful gift to the whole world, and sometimes it's just about how do you explain your gift, how do you get the message across, how do you, and so, you know, me and Rick, we've worked together at Comic-Con, you know, just going out there selling his art, etc. And he, to his credit, like came up with an idea and was like, am I good enough? Is this good enough? Will people like it? And I was like, listen, all you got to do is just explain it the right way. And then when he figured out how to explain it and how he does what he does, and now it's just like a whole career has bloomed. Like he's made a lot of people cry around the world, but in a good way and in a bad way.
Bottom line, so let me communicate to you what you're saying, Rick. Without him, you'd be nothing, bro. Nothing. You hear that? You'd be nothing.
I'm just saying. Half.
Half. Everything. I want half, Eddie. So, who's been the most inspirational people for you? Because I know you coach coaches. Who's coached you, whether directly or indirectly?
Yeah. So I've traveled the world to learn from a lot of amazing people. Tony Robbins, the guy that created NLP, Dr. Richard Bandler, the other co-creator of NLP, John Grinder, and a number of hypnotists around the world. So I've traveled around the world to learn from some amazing people, and they have all contributed in different ways, and helped me step out of my shell. Because one of my favorite phrases is every master was once a disaster, and I've been a complete disaster in all areas of my life. Literally, the reason I can help people is because I've probably fixed it in my own life, or I've made every single mistake in the book, and I've experienced every pain from doing it. So I've definitely learned from a number of people from around the world that have helped me, that some people, and people that have believed on me. Some people, I have another coach, Arfin, who, he put me on his stage to go in and speak to a couple of thousand people. People that have trusted me, built me enough to start to believe in myself as well.
Where do we go from here?
So I would like to. Where would I, as in me and you? I mean, we can go back to my place.
You know where we're going from here, man. Why go back to your place? I got a lock, a key on the door, and that's it. We're ready to go, man.
Oh, that's so convenient.
Why do you think I got him here, bro? He used to hold you down when you tried to run. Biggest.
Big. Does he know the safe word though?
No, there's no safe words. He's from Nigeria, bro. That's it. You got to stay till the end.
Oh no, I am worried now.
So where do you go from here with this, and where can people also find you and kind of get in touch and watch the lives and all that?
Okay, so my vision is to impact 3 million people around the world.
Did you say 3 million?
Yes.
It's a very specific number.
Yes, that's.
Do you want to elaborate behind that?
I was just thinking, I'd love to have a very powerful and large impact, and 3 million for me is the number of people around the world that would have seen my my free content, my stuff on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, etc. And perhaps one of my videos that has helped them in some way, shape, or form, even if it's just the slightest, hey, that was a cool idea, maybe I'll try that. And then out of that 3 million, let's say, I don't know, 500,000 buy something small, a book or something like that, because written a couple of books, and then from that a smaller percentage will come to my live programs and live events and etc. So it's sort of like working out from what's the big picture of everyone that the big number, and then breaking it down into a portion of those people will have bought something small, a portion of those people would have bought something big, or a portion of those people I would have worked with directly, etc. So that's kind of where it comes down to, and I'm kind of experimenting myself a lot with my approach, which is, when you say what's next, I've started creating story rhymes. So on my TikTok, rather than just teach or just tell stories that edutain, I'm now kind of adding rhymes to kind of make it stand out, etc. So I'm still kind of experimenting to see what gives the most impact, and that way I can share when I tell people, hey, you got to try this, I'm saying it truthfully because I've tried everything. I'm like that those hackers, I don't know if you know what a brute force hack, 0001, 0002. I've tried every combination until I get something that's worked. And people can find me on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Muneer, TikTok, or just go to Muneer.com and you'll find all my social media channels. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram as Muneer.com with the DOT instead of a dot.
What parting words of wisdom would you leave for the people watching?
So what I'd say is, wherever you have been in the past and wherever you're at today doesn't need to define your future. And I truly believe that wherever you are as a communicator, wherever you are as someone that if you want to make an impact in people's lives but you haven't, because you didn't know the knowledge, all of that can change. You can change anything that you want to in your life. You just need to, I don't know, find the right person or the right knowledge, or just get out of your own way and be okay with making mistakes. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I do want to give a big shout out to Rick as well, because he's supported me a lot as well, in my journey.
I think that's important, right? In every aspect of that.
Yeah.
Is
and my wife and kids. I feel like if I don't,
forget,
you know, like
forget them. You said Rick. It's right.
Yeah. As soon as my wife will be like, "You said Rick?"
Yeah, exactly.
And what about what? And you know what? And mom and dad, and let me just say, God is like, oh my God, I'm just gonna get in trouble.
Yeah,
you know, can we
one way or another
cut some of this out? I don't know.
One way or another, like if you don't mention everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that's important. Part of communication as well is being able to communicate in a supportive way to people when you see them trying to stick to something and do something.
Yeah.
Because people tend to be able to very easily just let people just do it by themselves and just, you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, as opposed to trying to help them flourish and do what they can.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, completely. I believe that's so many people. I mean, you are a talented person and you're tapping into your talent. There are so many people that have some amazing talents. They could make such a big impact in someone else's life. They just don't believe in themselves enough, or they don't. Someone out there, you can change someone's life out there if you just believe in yourself and tap into yourself, tap into your potential. And so if you can support someone and help them do that, then
boom.
Respect.
Ring ring. Hello? All right, motherfuckers, I got different demands. I don't want the pizza or the helicopter. Like and subscribe. And the hostages will stay alive.
You know what? I think I'll second that. I'll second that. Listen,
subscribe, motherfuckers.
subscribe to my channel.
That's it. You know,
or Lisa that gets it. No more sex for Lisa. All right.
Exactly.
Subscribe to my channel, yo. That's all I'm talking about. Crazy eyes. You don't want to get loco with me, ese?
Everyone's gonna be like, "What happened to these two at the end of the episode, bro? Let's kill some hostages." Thank you so much for coming down today. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for taking up the time. That's all right. At least it's dead now anyway. No more sex for her, or whatever, wherever you were taking away.
I'm just saying it's not wrong because she's older than I am. So
she is, right?
Yeah, I know, right?
They never age.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know how that works if you go to jail still or not. If someone doesn't age.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we will see you next time. Boom.
Peace out.